Welcome to Bunny Trails, a whimsical adventure of idioms and other turns of phrase. I'm Dan Pugh.
And I'm Shauna Harrison. Each week, we take an idiom or other turn of phrase and try to tell the story from its entry into the English language to how it's used today. I've always been one to stay up late. There's something about the way things feel at night, and while I enjoy being awake before the sun comes up, I've always found it easier to just stay up all night than to go to bed early and rise early. My family has always called me a night owl. According to Cambridge Dictionary, night owl means, quote, a person who prefers to be awake and active at night, end quote. Night owl didn't start out as a figurative term. Oxford English Dictionary tells us that a night owl is, quote, an owl which is active at night.
That should not be a definition that is in a dictionary. You cannot define a term by just using the same two words that are in the term.
And yet...
Oxford English Dictionary, what are you even doing? Also, what a wild thing, an owl which is active at night, which is the predominant number of owl species. And I know that famously, like, snowy owls are active during the day, and I think there's, like, the great gray owl is active during the day. There's definitely some species, right? But for the most part, most owls are active at night.
They're active at night.
Which would make them almost all of them night owls.
Right. And I even almost included it like a scientific bit in here about how most owls are nocturnal. And I was like, I don't think I even need to prove it. We know this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
goodness. For a very long time, night owl was just used to refer to the owls that are awake at night. So
that's okay.
One of the earliest attestations for the term appears in James Bell's translation of Against Jerome Osorius by Walter Haddon and John Fox. This was published in 1581. Quote, that like night owls, you are stark blind in the midday, end quote.
I think he's thinking of bats.
So the interesting thing about this one, though, is that it's using night owls metaphorically. So, you know, the term was at least enough for people to, he's comparing these people to night owls.
Sure.
So, and telling them basically that they're stumbling or unable to see. And even that was metaphorical because he was not talking about them physically stumbling. but yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So the whole thing, every part of that's metaphorical.
Yep. The phrase appears in William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, which was likely written sometime around 1601 to 1616. It was published posthumously in the first folio of 1623. Quote, shall we rouse the night owl in a catch? End quote. In this scene, Sir Toby Belch, a notorious late-night reveler, proposes that they keep the music and merrymaking going late into the night. The night owl here likely refers to a fellow reveler, or it might be the spirit of the night itself. Shakespeare is kind of famous for doing that kind of thing. The tone is rowdy, it's festive, and pretty unbothered by propriety. Altogether very, very Shakespearean.
Nice.
A catch at this time was a specific type of round or canon, a multi-part vocal song.
Like
where
row, row, row
each
your boat.
Singer, yep, getting there.
I know things.
It's a multi-part vocal song where each singer enters at different times with the same melody, creating overlapping harmonies.
And Michael, row your boat ashore. Hallelujah.
Sure, that too.
Yeah, I remember that as being a good round.
One of my elementary music teachers said that almost any song could be a catch if you did it.
If you try hard enough and believe in yourself,
basically. And then
any song can be done in a round if you try hard enough.
And and I remember her trying to get us to sing different popular
like
songs.
Thriller, maybe, or something. That would be wild.
No, I wish I could remember which song it was now. In Sync or Boys to Men. I don't know. It was something from the 90s. Yeah, we straight up did that in our little choir class. The phrase appears in a satirical ballad titled The Vindication of Topknots, included in the Bagford Ballads, a collection of English street ballads that were compiled by John Bagford in 1691 for the Earl of Oxford. The ballad pokes fun at contemporary fashion trends and social behaviors in Restoration England.
So wait, Is a top knot what I'm thinking of? Like a thing on the top of the head that you do with the hair?
So yeah, yes, it's made out of hair. Okay, so it was
Like you basically tie your hair up into a thing, but it's on the top of your head instead
yeah.
of like
So
a ponytail would be on the back of your head or something.
yeah, and in this case, I mean, top knot is now a like popular hairstyle. It would be a bun essentially on top of the head, but like a kind of
Right.
the messy bun thing is called a top knot.
I just didn't expect 1691 to also be rocking that. I know they say
Right.
that fashion is cyclical, but wowzers.
Really, really cyclical. At this time frame for women, it would have typically been just a portion of the hair that was then pulled into a little bun type of thing on top of the head, and then the hair draped around it or whatnot. And in military circles, this would have been that more like peaked ponytail right on top of their head in some cultures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but
Was the British Navy known for their top knots?
no, that would have been more in like samurai culture.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So Eastern like Asian
Yeah,
groups.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. I was like, that just doesn't seem like a British thing, but like the Navy would be the only one I could think of that might even allow that, you know?
Yeah.
But all right, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Here's some of the lyrics. Quote, "The fops and the fools, like silly night owls, they prate and they talk of their top knots." End quote. So not only do they wear top knots
But they prate with them too.
and brag about them, this ballad has some really fun lines in it. And we're going to look at the rest of the lyrics in our behind the scenes, which airs each Friday. You can find it at patreon.com/bunnytrailspod. The phrase appears in the works of Mr. Francis Beaumont and Mr. John Fletcher, which was published in 1701. This is a dialogue between two characters. Quote, "Look, we are friends. There's gold for thee, admit, whom I will have and keep it from my dawn. And I will make thee richer than thou'rt wife. Thou shalt be my bawd and my officer. Thy children shall eat still, my good night owl." End quote. Night owl is used as a direct form of address, and it's used within the context of a larger promise of protection and reward. So we can't know the exact intention of this attribution, but the term is clearly used in a figurative sense here and referring directly to an individual person.
Interesting. I do know that owls who hunt at dusk and dawn and night are more successful at hunting than owls who hunt during the day because their prey is more active. But owls who hunt during the day have like different adaptations. Like I remember reading one time about snowy owls and the adaptations that they have to be able to be better hunters during the day. Like one of the things that a lot of the that is common among owls that hunt during the day would be that they would have much more muted colors to be easier to hide during the day, or like snowy owls for example are white and they're usually hunting in snowy areas, right? So they just blend in. That's an example of that, of an adaptation.
I find that fascinating about the way that some birds, the adaptations are where, their belly is white, or light colored, and it blends in with the sky. And then if you were looking down at them from above, they blend in with the ground. And that is just cool.
Right. But I have no idea if that's what he means by like his term here, meaning, you being a night owl, meaning you're more successful at this gathering these things. I don't know if that's what he means or not. Who knows?
Yeah. The term was used in a political commentary piece in the New Hampshire Gazette, published May 26, 1807, out of New Hampshire, U.S. Quote, "However, warm federalism is placed by Burr's conspiracy rather than in an awkward situation. Federalism has been the cover under which everything venomous and traitorous has sheltered itself. Under the wings of federalism, the bats, the night owls, the birds of prey, nestled and brooded." End quote. Here, night owls is grouped with other creatures of the night to suggest secrecy, danger, and subversion. It's used metaphorically to criticize those hiding questionable motives under the guise of political alignment. And this theme isn't singular to this usage. I encountered a few references to night owl as a representation of secrecy or hidden behaviors or agendas. The majority of those instances were used in political commentary similar to this.
I definitely think during the 1800s and even still today, there is some teachings in some cultures and some religions in the U.S. that nothing positive happens at night, and once it's dark, you should really be inside.
Yeah. The phrase appears in the Providence News, January 20th, 1894, out of Rhode Island, U.S., in a segment titled The Theater's Round about the Westminster Theater. Quote, "The Night Owls, Bobby Manchester's aggregation of female beauty, will be at the Westminster Theater next week. The closing burlesque entitled Liberty's Reception to Uncle Sam will bring out the entire strength of the company in a sightly spectacle." End quote. The Night Owls is the name of a theatrical company known for late-night performances, playing on that common association of night owls with nighttime activity and entertainment. I think it's a clever name.
It does. I mean, yeah, it probably fits well. I mean, they said it's a burlesque, so yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. The phrase appears in The Oasis, August 19th, 1899, out of Arizona, U.S., and they were sharing a piece from the Mexican Herald. Quote, "The night owls are having some bitter experiences. Distressing scenes are presented about 3 o'clock every morning at La America and El Bosque cantinas. With fearful punctuality, all the doors are shut tight on the stroke of the hour, and a policeman takes a stand at every door to see that nobody gains access." End quote. So here, clearly, the night owls are people who are out late. Whether night owls are generally considered ne'er-do-wells or just people who are out when it's late is not specified in that article.
Sure.
The phrase appears in the Nome Daily Nugget, October 19th, 1935, out of Alaska, U.S., in the comic The Featherheads. Two men are walking and chatting. One invites the other inside, who explains his wife is out at a musical, saying, quote, "Can she find reasons to go out nights? So she's another one of these women who want to be night owls? Well, she has an idea she's a butterfly, but the way she goes through my clothes when she gets home, she's more like a moth." End quote. So while the husband is expressing frustration with her late night behavior, they don't seem to imply anything except that she's just out enjoying music. That, she's not necessarily doing anything against him, just not at home because she's out having fun. We have several modern uses to cover, and we're going to get to those right after we say thank you to our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by our amazing patrons on Patreon. And the cool thing about Patreon is it is 100% free to join the Bunny Trails community. We have new things every weekday on the feeds. On Mondays, we have a conversation about what movies, shows, books, podcasts, and whatever else everyone is enjoying. Tuesdays see early access to the week's podcast. Wednesdays have all the links, books, songs, and other content mentioned in the week's episode. Thursday has patrons-only polls. And Fridays are our lightly edited, behind-the-scenes video featuring all the cut content, goofs, and bonus facts you could imagine.
We've got some other pretty cool stuff too, like original digital artwork once a month made by me, and direct access to talk with us. No algorithms getting in the way of what we see or don't see. Plus, you can get awesome name recognition like Pat Rowe does every episode. And our top spot is currently occupied by the amazing Mary Halsig Lopez. You can join the Bunny Trails community for free at Bunny Trails Pod on Patreon.
That's patreon.com/bunnytrailspod.
Jerry Rafferty's 1979 album Night Owl provides a rather complex emotional experience for many people. From the Jerry Rafferty website, quote, "The title track, Night Owl, blends a memorable top 30 medley with a pitiless self-portrait of an artist using alcohol to blur the edges of a world in which what is real and valuable is sometimes effusive." End quote. Interestingly, Rafferty says that he was rather optimistic when he wrote this album, and other people had a different take on listening to it. Here are some of the lyrics from that song, Night Owl. Quote, "Night comes down and finds you alone, in a space and time of your own, lost in dreams in a world full of shadows. Down the street the neon light shines, offering refuge and hope to the blind. You stumble in with no thought of tomorrow. Yes, I get a little lonely when the sun gets low, and I end up looking for somewhere to go. Yes, I should know better, but I can't say no." End quote. So this, I mean, it has a really raw feeling, I think. I like the song. Night Owl is a drawing by Keith J. Woodward of the United Kingdom, featured on Saatchi Art. It was originally created in 2004. The artist's description reads, quote, drawing in black colored pencil on cartridge paper, depicting Liz and Sam writing and playing songs long into the early hours, end quote. The drawing shows a woman sitting with her legs folded to one side and back while she plays a guitar. A pet, either a cat or small dog, is lying next to her on the bed. The phrase appears in the watercolor painting Night Owls by Will Bullis, uploaded March 29th, 2016 to Fine Art America. The artist offers the description, quote, this is the smart crowd, end quote. This artwork shows anthropomorphized owls sitting at a bar inside a corner shop, drinks in front of them. It plays on the double meaning of night owls as both literal owls and people who stay out late. It frames them as witty or cultured late night regulars.
I really like this this particular work because it's kind of fun. It's almost got an animated, cartoonish vibe. Yeah, and it
almost like old school city grit, you know?
Yeah, it does. But like, you know, there's one owl whose back is to us in this image, and it looks like he's just sitting as if he walks, like he has a humanoid body, but he's just
like
sitting
his
there on the bar stool.
Maybe slumped a little even.
Yeah, this is I would hang this one in my house.
I really like this one too. It's awesome. Night Owl by Christopher Denise was published in 2022. It started the series of illustrated books about Night Owl and his friends. Here's the synopsis from the publisher. Quote, a determined owl builds strength and confidence in this medieval picture book about the real mettle of a hero, wit, humor, and heart. Since the day he hatched, Owl dreamed of becoming a real knight. He may not be the biggest or the strongest, but his sharp nocturnal instincts can help protect the castle, especially since many knights have recently gone missing. While holding guard during night watch, Owl is faced with the ultimate trial, a frightening intruder. It's a daunting duel by any measure, but what Owl lacks in size, he makes up for in good ideas. Full of wordplay and optimism, this surprising display of bravery proves that cleverness and friendship can rule over brawn, end quote. Night Owl may be the cutest thing I've ever seen. He's an owl in a tiny suit of armor, and he's carrying a little spear, and he's so cute.
The owl is the same size as the suit of armor. So, you know, I know you said he's a tiny suit of armor, but it's a tiny owl, and it's appropriately sized. Actually, it's a smidge big on him, and which makes it even cuter. And
so cute.
He has these massive eyes, which just really make him even more cute, I think,
so childlike,
at least to my
adorable
style of palette. So yeah, this is very, very, very cute. And there is, off in the distance near the Ginormoustest moon, there is, I think I added a T at the end of that. Ginormoustest is what I said.
It's the Ginormoustest.
It's the Ginormoustest moon, but there is a dragon of some sort flying back there too. Yeah.
In the sky. By the way, a night owl is spelled Knight.
Yes.
So.
I think most people figured that out because of your description of the owl, but it's good to spell it out.
Yeah. Is it better to be a night owl or an early bird?
Early bird, according to Benjamin Franklin.
I mean, no, according to him, they get the worm. That doesn't mean it's better to be it.
Early to bed, early to rise. Hello.
It makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just assumed he meant the royal man, but
women.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have no idea, so that's fair. That's fair.
This is an article published on Healthline written by Steph Coelho, a certified personal trainer. The article discusses the various aspects of these two chronotypes, which chrono refers to time. It was last updated in October 2024. Here is a little snippet. Quote, what makes someone a night owl or early bird? A 2020 study found that your genetics may help explain whether you favor the morning, early bird, or evening, night owl. Circadian rhythms might also play a part in determining your sleep chronotype. Chronotype does not automatically translate to sleep duration, so sleeping for a longer period of time does not necessarily make you a night owl, end quote. Well, I'm definitely a night owl, and I'm comforted that the amount of sleep one gets, that's not a determining factor.
The study referenced is published in the European Journal of Personality.
Hey.
Yeah, I didn't even know that
I
was
didn't
a
know
journal,
that
but
was a journal.
it's the study is called "To Challenge the Morning Lark and the Night Owl: Using Smartphone Sensing Data to Investigate Day-Night Behavior Patterns," which
There you
does
go.
sound a lot like a study title. So well done.
The article was interesting, and it's not a terribly long read. Bottom line, though, getting enough quality sleep is really important for health and wellness, regardless of your chronotype. Andrew Gonzalez founded Night Owl because he was always craving sweets while staying up late studying for exams. Here's what he says on his website, quote, "My name is Andrew G., and I'm the man behind the cookies. Ever since I can remember, I've been an avid sweets and food junkie. When I was about 20 years old, I began coming up with ideas to enhance the Miami dessert scene. What I came up with was sweet and warm, pun intended. I wanted to deliver warm, homemade cookies to my community. With the help of social media, food bloggers, and media outlets, my concept grew. We are so grateful for the support our night owls have given us, and we look forward to baking more memories. Hashtag seize the night," end quote.
Gonzalez was one of Forbes 30 Under 30 in, I believe, 2016 or 17.
Very impressive. Selling cookies, you know? It's a genius idea, really. I can't believe there aren't more places around like this that just are like a dessert place in the middle of the night. Because, people always want donuts, even. They want donuts all day.
I do not almost ever want donuts,
Well,
actually.
that's true. I don't eat them hardly.
Wow. I mean, all right. So we're batting 0% of the people on this podcast want that. But
Lots
you're
of
like,
people-
people want it.
But if you take donuts to an office,
No, that's true. People will cut the donuts in half and then eat one half and come back later and eat the other
yeah,
half.
or they'll just do it so they can take more than one kind at a time,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. They're still going to eat a donut and a half. They're just going to it's going to be half of 3 different donuts. Yeah, it's fail.
Donuts,
I'm like that with
bagels.
pizza, though. Definitely, I'm one of those guys that's like cut them into smaller slices because I'm on a diet, and then I'll still have the exact same amount. And so then I feel like I'm actually eating more than I did because I'm
You're
like,
doing
beforehand,
worse.
I was like, I had 2 pieces, and now I'm like, I had 8 pieces.
Yeah.
I have very little restraint when it comes to pizza.
Night Owl Shows features performances with titles such as The Rise of the Eagles, Bob Dylan Undercover, The Legend of Queen, and more. Here's a little about them from their website. Quote, "Led by producer-performer Dan Clues, Night Owl Shows presents groundbreaking and informative productions depicting the lives of some of the most influential singer-songwriters of the 20th century. Night Owl Shows approaches its subjects with respect, passion, and integrity, bringing a whole new angle to the tribute genre. We are genuine fans of the artists whose music and lives we portray, and we do so with a love for their music that comes through in every performance," end quote. I love things like this, where you get a peek inside the lives of stars. Musicians tend to lead these otherworldly lives filled with big risks, big rewards, and some big losses. It's fascinating to learn about a piece of their lives told in a story form by other professional musicians. I've always liked the term night owl. There's something familiar and quietly flattering about it, as if staying up late is not just a habit, but a kind of understanding, a little bit mysterious, a little bit outside the ordinary rhythm. What surprised me, though, was how long the phrase has been circling around, used for drinkers, schemers, and occasional fools, before settling into its cozy modern sense. Today, being a night owl might just mean you're most yourself after the sun goes down, but the old meanings still echo. There's a hint of mischief in it, and I think that's part of what I like about it. That's about all we have for today. If you have any thoughts on the show or pop culture references we should have included, reach out to us on Patreon, patreon.com/bunnytrailspod, or comment on our website, bunnytrailspod.com.
It is Patrons Poll Time. Recently, we asked our patrons, you get 1 utensil to eat with for the rest of the year. What do you pick? The ever-convenient spork came in first place, followed by mostly even votes for fork, knife, and spoon. Nork, however, didn't get any love. Jan said, quote, "Spork seems the most useful on the list. You could do soup and salad in the same meal, and just hope you don't encounter a well-done steak," end quote.
JGP said, quote, I've never heard of a Nork before, and having now looked it up, I have to say that the idea of using a fork/knife combination utensil would most likely result in me maiming myself. So I think I'll just stick with the spoon for soups and the like, and accept being thought to have terrible table manners by using my fingers for eating everything else. End quote.
That is actually how Shauna does everything.
I do.
Yes.
Whatever. I mean, I don't eat soup with my fingers.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't just dip something in it and eat that thing
Almost
instead?
all foods are finger foods. I don't know what people are
Shauna
doing.
has two things, but I don't want to spoil what I see Heather has commented on here, which is the other thing you use for everything.
Heather said, quote, "Spork seems the most efficient, but what about chopsticks? You could still drink from a bowl." End quote. I'm totally with Heather on this one, as Dan guessed.
Yeah, no, you are with Heather and JGP. Either you're going to use chopsticks or you are going to use your fingers.
Or
And those are
drink
the
it.
only
But-
two options for you.
Yeah, chopsticks are the best, okay? Because you can eat every food. You can eat. I've even eat ice cream with chopsticks, and you can cook with them. They're just very versatile. They're my choice.
Yeah, there was a long time, and I think most of you have probably heard this story if you've listened to the show long enough, but we sat down and decided if we would do the show by sitting down and having margaritas at a Mexican food place. And for a long time, Shauna and I would go out to dinner once a week and, talk about this kind of a concept. And we would go to a Mexican food place, and I swear she wouldn't even touch her silverware. She would just sit there. I'm appalled by it, but she'd use her chips, she'd use her tortillas, which I guess is what tortillas are for, so that's fine. But I'm just like, wow, you don't even ever touch your, like, she doesn't even take them out of the little wrapper that they come in.
Why
It's
would
wild.
I waste the silverware? Why would I waste that? Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I don't know. I feel like you're more connected with your food that way. I don't know.
I mean, there's something to be said. You could be meditative about your food, really focusing on it, and you've got the tactile piece to it. Sure.
Yeah, it's just better.
Well, I'm really torn on this because I feel like a spork is superior, but the ones I've known break easy. I've never had a spork that wasn't like plastic and just snapped on something, right? A knife feels like the most versatile, but I can cut food with my teeth. So then a spoon sounds good, but I can slurp from a bowl for soups. So I don't know that I need the spork necessarily, and like most of the stuff I could just cut with my teeth. So then I was thinking maybe a fork, just a fork would be best. But the more I think about it, the more I have to say I'm going to go with a knife because I may cut raw things prior to eating, and I do not want to do that with my teeth. So I think I'm going to have to go with a knife because I can stab things and eat it like it would be a fork. And then for soups and stuff, I can just slurp it out of the bowl, right? So, yeah, I
Wait,
think I'm going to do with that.
did
I'm
the-
going with a knife.
Did the question say for cooking and eating?
It says eat, but my head can't separate the two because I cook almost every meal that I eat. So I very rarely go out to eat.
Yeah, but I don't like cut raw meat and then eat with that knife.
If I only had one utensil, I would.
Dude, fingers.
I can't cut the raw meat with my fingers.
Right. No, I'm with you. I just still wouldn't use that knife to eat the food is what I'm saying.
Shauna also apparently has a thing about raw meat.
Yeah, I will stop eating meat. That's what's necessary. Like, I don't...
That's probably not bad for the environment, though. So especially if it's beef that you've stopped eating. So
If the world comes to a place where we get one utensil to use, there are other problems.
all right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, as a reminder, our silly polls mean absolutely nothing and are not scientifically valid, and patrons of all levels, including our free tiers, can take part. Head over to patreon.com/bunnytrailspod to take this week's poll. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week. Until then, remember, words belong to their users.